All right, my name's Dave Stevenson. This is Mobile Mud Pie. It's kind of the intro to building great mobile apps. I am a full-time iPhone developer. I made over 40 apps. I make them for myself and sell them myself. So there's some of my apps up there. They're all ones that I programmed and made or partnered with people to provide the content for. And so I've been doing this for, my first app has been out for over 2.5 years. I've been doing full-time iOS work for almost a couple years now. All of my experience is iPhone related. I do have partners that have made Android apps. So basically most of the stuff I'm going to talk about today applies to making iPhone apps, but generally it applies to Android as well. Some of the resources and tips are a little bit different. My main app is a gardening app. It's the top selling gardening app in the App Store. It's called Landscaper's Companion. And if you want to help me out today, you can buy it. And then after you buy it, you can rate it 5 stars. And then my wife will be happy. She won't get so mad when I go buy a new iPad. So just some stats. I like having that HP computer in here because I don't know if you heard the stat last week at the Apple event, but Apple sold 15.9 million iPads last quarter. How many PCs did HP sell last quarter? 15.2. 15.2. Apple sold more iPads than HP sold computers, or they sold more iPads than any computer manufacturer sold. They sold more than Dell. They sold more than HP. Pretty amazing fact out there. And what that means for people like me, and hopefully you one day, is they have paid developers over $4 billion. So the market is growing and going to grow. But with that said, it's getting crowded. There's over 500,000 iPhone apps or iOS apps out there. So I may have the #1 gardening app, but there's probably 99 others that I have to compete with every day. So it's tough. It's a tough business. So who has the next Angry Birds idea? You do, okay? Who else? Who wants to make $1 million a day? Yeah? Great, okay. We're going to do it, okay? First, let's talk about some basics of how much it's going to cost you to make the next Angry Birds idea. So these are some of the popular apps that are out there. Twitterific is one of the first Twitter clients. Version 1 cost them about $250,000 to make. Angry Birds, version 1, this is before Angry Birds Space and all that crazy stuff. They spend over $500,000. Yep.
I don't know if you're going to get to this or not, but is that including man hours? Where's that cost come from?
Okay, the Angry Birds, that $500,000 is estimated is estimated what their company spent. They had Rodeo had 25 employees working on it for 6 months to make that version 1. Most apps are $10,000 and above, and that's about 1 man month of work. The Obama app, I'm apologizing to any Tea Party people. I don't know if you made it to the caucus last night, but the Obama app, when he was running for president, the developers spent between $50,000 and $150,000 making that. So apps are not cheap. Contractors, if you're not a developer, you can hire it out. Most local developers are about $85 and above to build your apps. You can try offshoring your apps, $20 an hour. I've tried it. I don't have good success stories with offshoring, but you may be good, but it can be cheaper. Partners. A lot of people are biz dev guys that come up to you and say, I got the next idea, you program it, and we'll make millions together. I'll be honest with you, most qualified iPhone developers that have any experience are not going to partner for free with a biz dev guy. The idea is, I have an idea listed a million miles long of apps I want to do. The trick is the ones that are going to sell, and it's a gamble. You can partner with people that have existing brands and content. Like I have an app called Kids in Mind, which is a movie review website. and I provided their mobile app on iPhone, iPad, and Android, Kindle Fire for them. So we partnered with them. So generally expect to pay a lot of money to have it now, build it now. So after you've spent the $250,000 making your app, next month you're probably going to want to make that back. And there's a lot of ways to make money selling apps. There's three major ways. Free with advertising, kind of the same model as how a website works. You put some ads on there, you get thousands of people viewing those ads to make some money. There's paid downloads where you sell your app for 99 cents or $4.99, whatever. You can do in-app purchases like games, typically you buy additional levels. There's lots of ways. I just did another presentation. I'm doing it again this afternoon called Monetizing Mobile Apps. And there I talk about 10 different strategies for making money with your apps so that you can make back that $250,000 there. So let's talk about reality of making your app. Basically, you sell a 99-cent app. Apple keeps 30%. That leaves you with approximately 70 cents. Let's multiply that by X minus your cost and then your special number. So what's your special number? What's that number you got in your head that you want to make per year or per month? Let's say $100,000 maybe per year. Take that minus your cost of your app. What's your cost? Server hosting, time, development, paying contractors, designers. And then you solve for that X, which is going to be how many copies of the app you got to sell. And it's a big number. Short answer, it's a big number. I have apps that sell less than a copy a day. I have apps that sell hundreds of copies a day. So it's definitely a gamble. So, oops. You guys still interested, or you want to leave?
We're out of here.
So it's tough work. It's not a gold rush. So let's go on. Let's make some pie. This is the session before lunch. I don't know about you, but I like pie. A little mobile pie there. Hopefully I'll have some of that. So this is the recipe for building good apps. A little bit of programming, the idea, design, pricing, marketing, advertising, some socialness, and then some secret sauce. So let's start. Programming. How do you program apps? iPhone, iPads are programmed in a language called Objective-C, and you use an IDE, a development environment called Xcode. Apple provides this to you. It's all free, but it only runs on Mac. If you want to then take your app and sell it on the App Store, you pay Apple $99 a year. And that gives you the privilege of sticking out your 99-cent app. Android is similar, but you can program it in the way Java, and you can use your Windows or your Linux or your Mac computer, and then you pay a $25 registration fee. And then, if you don't know Objective-C and you don't know Java, there are cross-platform kits that you can write your apps in HTML or JavaScript, but I don't really recommend those, and we'll talk about it. So that's a pretty picture of Xcode. If you ever wonder what an iPhone app looks like underneath the scenes, that's what it is. It's kind of ugly, it looks a little intimidating, but if you are a programmer in any other language, you'll pick up Objective-C. I was a Java programmer for 12 years before I learned Objective-C, and it was a struggle, but it's not so bad. And the nice thing about Xcode is it's free. So you go to the Mac App Store and you download it. It's fairly hefty, but it's free. So you can actually start programming your very first app. So there's like 30,000 API calls in Objective-C, so we're going to start number one. We're going through all 35,000, so let's get started. You guys ready? You with me? We start with a nib name, and we pass it in a string pointer, and we go from there. I'm just kidding. So this isn't going to be a technical presentation. You don't need me to read API docs. You can read those. So we'll keep going down this path. Here's some resources. These are all free. Developer.apple.com. That's your home page. They've got free videos to their Worldwide Developers Conference, to their talks. All free. They've got all their docs. Xcode's free. They've even got this handy getting started. Start developing iOS apps today. And they walk you through all of these steps, exactly the process to do it. And it starts with how to design it. It goes through all the programming, how to get that into the store, packaged up. College, Stanford, has a free course. I don't know about you, but I don't have good enough grades. I'm too old now, but I don't have good grades to get to Stanford. But through iTunes U, you can take the real Stanford course, the same course they teach on campus there. CS 4 something, 423 or something. You can take their course online for free through iTunes U, and you'll learn how to program iOS apps. So for Android, same sort of stuff, developer.android.com. All of the stuff you need to get started, it's all free. So don't let money be a barrier for you to get started. Cross-platform SDKs. There's a nice dream. Everybody has their dream. They say, I want to write it one time, and I'm going to have it run on an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, a Windows Mobile, and a BlackBerry. And there are kits that allow you to do that. PhoneGap, Titanium. They often use easier languages like HTML or JavaScript to do them. So their barrier to entry is pretty low. If you have JavaScript experience, you can use PhoneGap and you can make your own iPhone app. They have their place. But if you really want to do a game or a top app, you're probably going to eventually need to bite the bullet and learn native code, Objective-C or Java. Okay, the next ingredient is a good idea. I said earlier ideas are worthless, or they're cheap, and they are. You've got to have a good idea, and an iPhone app is just like any other software product. So stop before you get excited and do some analysis about the idea. Research the market side, research how many people are going to do it. And follow lean principles. We've all heard of pivoting and establishing a minimal viable product. Get something quick and easy, simple out there, but work through your idea to make sure people are actually going to want to buy it and use it. There's over 500,000 apps. Chances are, like Patrick said, he wants to make a blog reader. There's probably 1,000 blog readers out there. But you can get worried about that, but you can also make one better than them, and it's possible. So don't be too concerned about being entirely unique. If you're entirely unique, that could be a bad sign that people don't even care about your app. So just worry about having a good, solid idea that is better designed and functions better. Also know the human interface guidelines. So Apple provides this document. It tells you exactly how each button should work and how it should be laid out on the screen. That's why a lot of iPhone apps look similar, because Apple dictates how they want you to have your app. And it's called the HIG, the Interface Guidelines. Review apps, they all go through a review process with Apple. Apple has said they don't want any more fart apps, they don't want any pornography, they don't want any politically sensitive apps or flame bait. So you do have to make sure your idea is worthwhile and is not going to catch the eye of Apple, because you'll get it rejected. You have to know the device capabilities. So, for example, people will say, I want to build an app that intercepts phone calls and sends them straight to voicemail. Unfortunately, you can't control the phone to intercept voicemails. You can't control to intercept text messages, things like that. So you've got to stick to private or public interfaces in the device. So